Exercise 21. Discussion 1. Listen to part of a discussion among students in a study group.
So, what do you think will be on the test?
I'll bet the first question will be, define the term organization. And Dr. Graham will want it, word for word. So, here it is, straight from the book. An organization represents a specific type of social relationship or arrangement between persons, with either closed or limited admission, and regulations enforced by a person or group in a position of authority.
You got that right. He's gone over that definition at the beginning of almost every class since the last test. And then, let me see here, then we'll probably have to compare formal and informal organizations. So, this is the answer, guys. A formal organization is characterized by formality. No surprise there. A hierarchy of ranked positions, and a complex division of labor, as well as a relatively large size. Okay, now, want me to do informal organizations?
I'll do it. An informal organization brings people together to explore a common interest.
Okay, don't forget about bureaucracies.
Yeah. Besides the definition, what?
I've got a lot on Weber's ideal type of bureaucracy.
You do? I don't remember anything about that.
Here, let me read you some of my notes. It's called Weber's Ideal Bureaucracy. Maybe you'll remember something. I have a list of the characteristics. 1, paid officials. 2, benefits for career officials. 3, salary increases, seniority rights, and promotions by examination. 4, hierarchical organization.
Oh, okay, sure, I have that. I just didn't have it identified. You know, as Weber's ideal bureaucracy.
You've got them all then? All the characteristics?
Yeah, I got them.
Okay, we should probably be ready for the Bensman and Rosenberg, the Bensman and Rosenberg study.
That's the one about advancement, right?
Right. I have it summarized like this. It's not what you know, but who you know.
And how well you're liked by the right people.
Bingo.
Moving right along. Parkinson's Law has to be there. Here's what I have on that one. In any bureaucratic organization, work expands to fill the time available for its completion.
I always get that mixed up with the, what's the other one? You know, the Peter Principle.
No, listen, the Peter Principle is, in any hierarchy, every employee tends to rise to his level of incompetence.
Okay. So what does that mean, really?
Look, let's say you're a great professor, and you get a promotion to maybe department chair, which is an administrative position. But you can't use your teaching skills in the administrative position. So you aren't as successful. You see, you got hired on the basis of skills that don't translate. Transfer to the next job.
So you don't get promoted again because you aren't doing such a great job, as an administrator?
Right. You reached your... Just a minute, I've got it right here. You've reached your level of incompetence.
Listen, the way that I keep them straight is to think Parkinson's Law is about the work, and the Peter Principle is about the people.
Hey, thanks. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Do you think he'll include anything on leadership?
Maybe. If he does, he'll probably ask us about the 2 different types of leaders.
Okay, let me see if I can remember that. The instrumental leader is goal-oriented and organizes the group by assigning tasks, and the expressive leader is more socially inclined. Someone who works toward... let me think. The expressive leader works toward solidarity among group members by offering support.
I'm impressed. That's almost word for word from the lecture.
Remember, Dr. Graham doesn't reward creativity. He's looking for the stuff he taught, just like he taught it. Haven't you noticed how he grades the quizzes?
I know. Just kidding.
Okay, so the short answer questions will be explain the Peter Principle, state Parkinson's Law, summarize the Bensman and Rosenberg study, Bensman and Rosenberg, and contrast formal and informal organizations. Anything else?
Compare the 2 types of leaders.
Right. That leaves the what's his name, ideal bureaucracy for the essay?
Weber's Ideal Bureaucracy.
Weber.
That should about do it then. I think we covered the most important points in the chapter and the notes.
Now all we have to do is review a little and we should be ready for it.
Number 1. What is the main purpose of the study group? 2. Who has identified an ideal bureaucracy? 3. Which law states that people advance until they reach a position in which they are less likely to succeed? Four. Which topic will probably appear as an essay question? 5. Listen again to part of the conversation, then answer the question.
You got that right. He's gone over that definition at the beginning of almost every class since the last test.
Why does the man say this?
He's gone over that definition at the beginning of almost every class since the last test.
6. What can we assume about Dr. Graham? Discussion 2. Listen to part of a discussion among students who are working on a group project.
Okay, let's get going now that we're all here.
Okay.
Fine. Just to remind everyone, we agreed to do our group presentation on the SQ3R study reading method. And since there are 4 of us in the group, all of you are going to take 2 of the steps in the method, and I'm going to say a few words to introduce the presentation, and then I'll summarize at the end, and finally we can go over the handout.
Sounds good, except I had only 1 step.
Right, Carl. Phil and Martha have 2, though. And, we said we'd all be ready to go through everything this time.
I think we all brought our scripts, Joan.
Okay, I'll start. This is it. Today our group will show you how to use the study reading method known as SQ3R. The letters stand for 5 steps in the reading process. Survey, question, read, review, and recite. Then I'll say, each of the steps should be done carefully and in the order that I mentioned.
Is that it?
Yes. We only have 10 minutes, Phil. And we want to spend, I'd say, at least 6 or 7 minutes going over the handout. So we have less than a minute for each step.
Okay. Well, after the introduction, it's my turn. And I'll say, in all study reading, a survey should be the first step. Survey means to look quickly. In study reading, you need to look quickly at titles, words in darker or larger print or italics, words with capital letters, illustrations, and charts. At this point, you don't stop to read complete sentences. Just look at the important divisions of the material.
Okay, I'm up next. The second step is question. Try to form questions based on your survey. Use the question words who, what, when, where, why, and how.
My turn? Let's see. Now you're ready for the third step. Read. You'll be rereading the titles and important words that you looked at in the survey. But this time you'll read the examples and details as well. Sometimes it's useful to take notes while you read. Some readers prefer to underline important points, and it seems to be just as useful as note-taking. What you should do, whether you take notes or underline, is to read actively. Think about what you're reading as a series of ideas, not just a sequence of words. Go ahead, Phil.
Okay, thanks. The fourth step is review. Remember the questions that you wrote down before you read the material? You should be able to answer them now. You'll notice that some of the questions were treated in more detail in the reading. Concentrate on those. Also, wait a minute, I changed this part. Also, review material that you didn't consider in your questions. Martha?
Sorry. The last step is recite. Try to put the reading into your own words. Summarize it either in writing or orally.
Done?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Now, I'm going to just summarize in one sentence. I'll say SQ3R, survey, question, read, review, and recite. Let me repeat that. SQ3R, survey, question, read, review, and recite. Then I'll say, but to really understand the method, let's take a look at a reading passage and try to use SQ3R. Then I'm going to pass out a passage from our textbook. I thought I'd use something in the next chapter because so most people probably wouldn't have read it yet.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, what's the next chapter on?
It's about motivation. There's a really good passage about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation.
What's that?
Intrinsic motivation is when you want to do something for your own reasons. But extrinsic motivation is when you have external rewards like money or something. That's really a simplistic explanation. But anyway, the passage isn't too long, and it has, the headings are good, and a few words in bold type, and, capital letters. So I think it should be perfect for the survey part.
Look, here it is in the book. On page 351. This does look good for our purposes.
So what are you thinking? Maybe just like have everyone look in their books?
I think we should copy the pages onto a handout. Everybody doesn't bring a book to class. I know I don't. I just show up with my notebook.
True.
Well, it's easy enough to copy it. I'll do that.
I know it'll be a little more work, but it would probably be good to summarize the SQ3R words, maybe at the top of the page.
And it would be nice to have all of our names on it.
Sure, no problem.
Number 1. What is the purpose of this study group? Two. What do the letters in the SQ3R method represent? Three. What does the word survey mean? Four. What will the group do at the end of the presentation? Five. Listen again to part of the conversation, then answer the question.
At this point, you don't stop to write. Read complete sentences. Just look at the important divisions of the material.
Why does the man say this?
Read complete sentences.
Six. Who is probably the group leader?